Arch has determined what you guys kind of need to do to find that, and it seems like you do have 2 other doors in the room that are not sealed.
I'm gonna try using magic device. See what happens. I don't care.
Roll it. You swing around on the pegs like a kid in a swing.
Hell yeah.
Nothing happens.
I'm open that one.
Which one?
Strength
The one on the
check.
right or the one on the left?
Left.
Alright, so Velnos, roll a strength roll to push open the door. You open the door, and basically on the other side of the door, you see what looks like a blood waterfall that's cascading down into a kind of pool area.
I'm gonna look around.
I'm gonna start swimming in the pool.
So, Cham, you're just going to start swimming in the pool. Alright, Velnos, I'll get to your roll in a sec. Cham, roll a spot check for me. Jesus Christ. Alright, you rolled a nat 20. As soon as you leap into the blood fountain, you see at the bottom of the blood fountain, it appears that there is a stone Cerberus head. It's not too deep under the water. It's maybe like, just barely covering it so you can't see it from the surface, but it is right there. So you found the head. So you're going to relay that information to the others.
Sure, I'll relay this.
You relay the information to the others. So that means Arch and Raka, you guys now know that Cham has apparently found the head in the left-hand room that needs to be attached to the statue.
This
All right,
like
Cham, roll a
him
strength roll
problem.
to try and lift it. 21.
Well,
Okay.
All
All right, you are barely able to lift it, and you lift it up out of the blood waterfall, and you wind up, getting it out of the actual water and starting to carry it for the door. As you are doing that, there is a glowing red gem that appears to be shining very brightly behind the waterfall as you exit the actual blood pool below it. And then imps start popping up all over the room. There must be at least 6, maybe 7 of them.
I was gonna immediately use Deep Slumber on the imps.
10 hit die worth of creatures. Okay, for the sake of argument, I'm going to say for all of the imps, each one of them is worth about 2 hit die. So that means you can affect 5 out of the 7.
And I'm gonna take this opportunity while they're falling asleep. I'm gonna attack the nearest one.
I'm assuming you're going to try and attack one of the nearest ones that is actually conscious.
Yes.
You use your move, you put 5 of them to sleep. Velnos, I'm going to say you can do what you want to do now as Cham is moving to attack one of the only conscious ones.
Well, since he is already initiating combat, my mighty went down the drain, so yeah, I'm gonna initiate combat as well. Except I'm gonna do one thing. I'm gonna essentially turn into Dr. Octopus.
So I'm going to say you and Cham are each going to get a free attack on one of the 2 remaining ones that is awake.
So since I have 4 arms now,
I'm going to say it's 1 attack, and you get to use 2 of the arms, so it's going to be 2 of the hit dice. So I'm going to say each one of those is... I'm going to say it's 2d10 plus 3.
Well, I rolled a 12.
Yeah, you miss. Velnos can now roll for his attack with his arms. Alright, so both of those will hit.
yeah, both of them. So that's an 11 and a 9.
Okay, so that is actually enough to skewer both of those imps with your Doc Ock claws. They don't have that much health to begin with. The other ones are all asleep.
One by one, just stab them in the heart.
Okay, I'm going to say because they're unconscious, they're not going to be able to stop you. So you manage to kill the remaining 5 imps that are asleep. As soon as you do, 7 more imps appear.
Oh boy.
I'm just gonna tell freaking grab his freaking octopus arms, grab the head, and we're leaving.
Is the door shut?
No, the door is wide open.
Then I'm grabbing the head and we're fucking off.
Strength roll to grab the head.
So what's the bonus gonna be? Because I have 4 extra arms to help.
Alright, so you're basically just using the arms and your hands to help you lift it, and you're running out on your legs. Okay, so I'm going to say it's going to be a +1 for each arm, so an additional +4 for carrying it. So that's a 14. I'm going to say you are able to carry it, and you are leaving the room as the imps are starting to kind of shake off their initial spawning phase. Cham, you are still in the room, however. Do you want to try and run out as well?
But right before I leave, I'm gonna use one of my shurikens and chuck it at the gem that I saw behind the waterfall.
Roll for attack. You throw the shuriken, however, it does not hit the gem in the waterfall. It simply hits the water and careens down into the giant pool of blood. You guys are through the doorway, by the way.
Close the door.
You're gonna need to roll strength rolls to get the door shut. All right, you both rolled 11s. Anybody want to help them, by the way?
Quite frankly, it still seems like a them problem.
I'll activate Aura of Good. It grants +1 bonus to AC and all saving throws to allies within range.
So that's going to give them each one to a 12. So Basically, what I'm going to say is all 7 of those imps are going to get free fireball shots. So I'm going to roll. So I'm going to say each one of those fireballs is 1d6 apiece. So it missed Cham, but one of them did hit you, Velno, so it did hit you for 4 damage. The imps are firing again, so roll strength again to try and get that door shut before they start bum rushing it. Alright, 16 and 13. I'm going to say you're able to close the door the rest of the way. And as you do that, you start hearing the imps start smacking up against the other side of the door. And they appear to be trying to just bombard themselves into it to try and open it from the other side. They are putting a decent amount of pressure onto the door as they keep going. And you can also hear the sound of what seems like more of them being warped in from the other side.
So as that's going on, I'm gonna look at Rocket and I'm like,
So I'm gonna do something really, really stupid. I'm gonna form as much mass as I can with the amulet and just sit on the door.
So basically what you're going to do is you're going to kind of take root at the base of the door.
Yeah.
So the only thing is if you do this, you're going to be stuck in one place.
Fine, I just need to wait for them to give up.
All right, we'll see if that happens. So basically what happens is you kind of put your back against the door and you spread your arms out kind of like a spread eagle and put your palms on the door. And you then use the armor's ability to kind of grow itself to kind of just basically make a tree shield that roots into the walls and the floor in order to keep the door shut. So the door is secured for the time being. And you do have the head on this side. So you guys going to try and mount that head?
sure, I'll do it. Since I'm the one that grabbed it.
You try and lift the head, but you are not successful. Rocket, do you want to try mounting it since you're the paladin?
Yeah, okay, I'll try to do it.
Can I use charisma to inspire him?
Sure, why not?
You can do it, buddy.
Alright, well then we'll just do a flat strength roll. Nope.
I'll do it one more time.
Through the power of friendship, all 3 of you are able to lift the head into place and place it upon the stone.
3? I'm rooted to the door. I just gave words of encouragement.
Yes, but you did help. Through the power of friendship and one friend indirectly, you're able to mount the head back on the statue. Now that is the left-hand side of the statue that is complete. The right-hand side of the statue is still empty, and the other door has yet to be tried. Velnos is stuck in one place as the imps are trying to break through the door you already went through.
I'm gonna check the other room.
So since Velnos is kind of stuck to that door, I think Rocky, you might have to go through this one.
Yeah, no, I can go through the door.
So we go in the door.
So we go in the door.
You guys are going to have to roll strength rolls. It is still closed like the other one.
Yeah, this is on you, man.
Alright, I'm gonna try to power surge again. Alright, so that's successful. So now I have a strength of +8.
Roll your strength check then.
Really? Really? I hate the dice bowl.
I'm going to say just because your strength level is as high as it is, and since he's helping you, that's enough to actually get the door open. Barely open enough to walk through. Like, you can kind of squeeze through it. It's not open all the way, but it's open enough for you to pass through. It's a fairly big doorway. So you guys are able to get through, and when you get into the next room, you see what appears to be a sort of demonic-looking stone golem, and it has its foot perched up on what looks like another Cerberus head. It is standing there. It is not moving.
I'm going invisible. I'm going to use my grappling hook to get to the mainly closer to the wall towards the golem because I feel like it's going to wake up.
So you're going to reuse jump with the grappling hook?
Yep.
Okay, so that's going to be a jump roll, which I'm just going to assume you're going to pass.
26.
And, all right, so that's a pass. And then you're going to have to roll a dexterity check for the grappling hook. All right, I'll say that's enough because you rolled high enough on the jump roll to get right there anyway. So you're able to use the grappling hook and perch yourself up behind the golem.
I'm just going to watch. I'm going to look for any spots, like glowing gems or anything. I'm just going to watch it.
Are you going to roll a search check?
Yeah, sure. Might. Fuck it.
Or a spot check. Spot check. Okay, that's a 20. So what you do notice is that it does appear that there is a small red gem in the back of the golem's neck.
I'm going to use a target attack on that fucking gem.
All right, 15 plus. That's the first one. You're going to roll for the dagger as well. What I'm going to say happens is this, because the first one is not good enough to hit. The second one is not good enough to hit. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the golem a reflex save to see if he can pass it. He gets a +3 to his reflex save. Yep, that's going to be a 21. So he's going to get his reflex save, which means he's going to go up and whack you out of the air as you're trying to come down on him from the back. So basically what's going to happen is he's going to come up and hit you. I'm going to give him he's going to dodge it no matter what, but I'm going to give him, and now he is doing an attack roll, which is a +5 for him, which he is also going to hit. So he's going to smack your little froggy butt out of the air, and that's going to be 2d10 +5 for his smack attack. And that's going to be 9 damage, so he's going to smack you out. And now we're going to have actual combat. Velnos, you are still stuck in place. So Cham and Raka and Arch, you guys are all going to have to roll. Cham, I'm going to say that you weren't hit bad enough to get you in a prone position, but you will have to roll initiative for this. Arch, the nat 20. Okay, 9. All right, so it's going to go Arch, the Golem, Cham, and then Raka.
All right, before they start, quick question. From my side of the door to the other door, how visible?
The statue is between you and the other door, so you can hear a lot of what's happening, but you can't really see it.
All right, so I'm just gonna move silently out of the way of the door and pray they don't find me. I'm gonna remove the roots. It's 7 imps, a heavy door, they're gonna take their time.
You assume that it's still 7 imps.
I don't care, they're imps, I'm gonna try it anyway.
Okay, roll that, please. It's a 14. I'm going to say you're able to move away from the door, especially because they can't even see you and they already know you're on the other side of the door anyway. So the imps know that you moved, but the people in the other room didn't because you're still a fair distance away.
And I'm gonna hide.
Okay, roll a hide check. So that's 22. So, yeah, you are successfully able to hide in the room. You kind of tuck yourself behind the nutsack on the Cerberus statue. Arch, you're going to get a chance to go first. And after each one of you guys goes, I'm going to give the imps a turn. Because now that the door is unblocked, they're going to have a chance to try and hit it hard enough to try and open it.
Sounds fantastic. So I'm going to try and perform a touch attack for a spell.
All right, that will hit.
I'm hitting Bestow Curse, which is a -4 penalty on attack rolls, saves, ability checks, and skill checks.
Okay, you do that. So that's going to be your attack. So that one's going to go down to the golem. And since you're right next to the golem, you're the one that he's probably going to attack first.
Yeah, I expected it.
15. I think that still hits.
That just meets my AC, so yes.
Okay. He's going to just use his smack attack again. So again, that's 2d10 plus 5. All right, so that's going to be 22 damage directly to you, and that is enough to actually knock you back. Although you did do the -4 to him, which is enough. So 22 damage shouldn't be too terrible for you.
Yeah, it's not amazing, but it's not awful.
So now it's going to go to Cham.
I'm gonna use a minor action to jump. I'm gonna target the crystal once more.
Okay, so you're going to make a jump around behind him, and you're going to try and target the crystal again. Okay, so I'll say you can do that. Okay, so the jump is going to work, so you're going to get a chance to do your attack.
Here's the first one.
All right, that is going to hit.
And here's the other one.
That will also hit. And you are aiming directly for the back of his neck, so that is also going to crit on both. All right, so that is going to be 20. All right, so that's 8 in total, which gets doubled to 16. So that's 36 damage. So you did a lot of damage to him. You sliced that crystal, which is definitely having an effect on the way that he's moving around. You're fucking with the flow of magic to the actual body of the golem. So there's parts of him that are going limp at various points, and there's parts of him that are still working. It appears he can still attack. That -4 might be more like a -6 now.
Am I able to hold on to the golem while I'm up there?
Roll a grapple check on the stab roll with the dagger, because the dagger might be able to hold into him.
Listen, so that's a 14.
I'm going to say that that's not enough to hold on to him, because it is stone that you're trying to get through. So you do fly past him and you land on the ground on the other side of him, but you did complete your attack and did a good amount of damage. Now it's going to go down to Raka, so what are you going to do to him?
I am, however, going to use my greatsword, and I am just going to slash in the name of God.
Oh, that is definitely enough to hit. You did 9 damage to him, so you cleaved him pretty good with that greatsword. Arch is going to go back up to you.
Well, shit. How much more can I debuff this motherfucker? From my recently whacked on position, I'm going to use 3 of my turn undeads to fuel my fucking divine meta magic. And I'm going to pop 2 spells, and one of them is going to be maximized, essentially. I'm going to pop a Cure Moderate Wounds, so it's going to be 16 health back to me. And then I'm going to place down Symbol of Pain, which is where I essentially just create a symbol in the air that lasts for an hour, or if the creature moves more than 60 feet away from the symbol, it stops working. But it's a -4 penalty on attack rolls, skill checks, and ability checks again. So he's up to a -8 right now.
No, he's also taking a -2 from the damage that Cham did to the magical crystal, so it's actually a -10. Okay, so you form your symbol of pain, and it has a direct result downgrading the creature. You can see that it appears that the golem's body is starting to become kind of brittle, like it's actually physically becoming weaker due to the things that you're doing to it. But it's the golem's turn, so the golem is going to attack you. But like I said, he's taking a -10, which is going to negate his attack modifier of +5, so he's going to take a -5 to whatever he rolls. Which means that's going to be a 5, which means he misses terribly. So, Cham, it is now your turn.
And I'll just take the 2 rolls that I rolled.
So it's a 25 and a 14. The 14 will miss, the 24 will hit.
Dark Saber is a crit.
Alright, so 26 damage. You've done a good amount to it at this point. You go over and you cleave off one of its legs. So it's now hobbling around on one leg. It can barely move. It's crumbling to pieces. It barely has any health left, but it is still alive. It might be able to hurt somebody if it falls on them, I guess, but I don't know how much attacking it's going to do in the near future. So now it's to Raka. So Raka, you have a chance to finish this thing off.
I'm gonna finish it off.
Oh, you finished him, all right. Is that a crit for your greatsword?
That is a weapon crit.
Okay, then yes, then you can roll your damage, and that will be doubled. Raka, you take your greatsword and you swing it straight up, and due to the power of your god flowing through your hands at this very moment, you're able to cleave the golem in half, basically the groin to the skull. And the golem then crumbles to pieces before you, nothing more than a simple set of legs. You may now take the Cerberus head and install it on the statue. It appears that everything else is fine in the room. However, even though that room is fine, let's see what's happening on Velnos' end of the things, because all of those imps are trying to get through. And also, by the way, I'm going to roll to see how many times they've multiplied since you closed that door. Okay, so I have to roll for this to see what we're looking at. All right, so basically what has happened since you blocked the door is every basically 60 seconds, 7 more imps have spawned in that room. Now, the problem is that since you've been fighting this golem, and since Velnos has been hiding behind the Cerberus' nutsack, you guys have basically been in there, I'm going to say, for about 4 to 5 minutes, which means that 35 imps have spawned in that room. So that means what's going to happen is I'm going to roll this dice, and that number is going to get a plus 35 because all those little fucking idiots are ramming their heads against the door at the same time. So they rolled a 17 to break through the door, and that's a plus 35 because there's 35 of them smacking their little heads against the door at the same time. So that means that that is actually going to be a 52. So basically what happens is all of those fucking imps smack themselves into that door at the same time and burst it open, and there is a flood of imps that comes out of that room.
Alright, I'm gonna wait until they reach the other room.
The imps are now making their way towards the other room, and you guys, as you're grabbing the head from the dust of the golem, you turn around and you see that there are a bunch of imps that are flooding in through the back door, and that is not a good thing. You all will get one attack of opportunity on them when they get close enough. Velnos, you can roll your move silently now. That is enough to move silently into the room where the imps were. There is currently no imps in the room. They are all on the opposite side.
Alright, I'm gonna try and grab the gem.
Okay, you're just going to use your vines and reach out and snatch it?
Yeah.
Dexterity check.
Oh,
That's a 20. All right. You shoot your vines through that waterfall and you grab that gem and pull it towards you. You are holding it in your hand now. It is glowing red.
Now I'm gonna use magic device.
Okay, what do you want to try and do with it specifically?
I want to take control of it.
It is dark magic and you are a light magic user. You are not. If you try to take control of it, it will harm you.
fuck it, do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Screw it.
All right, roll it. All right, that is 32. All right, so what do you want it to do specifically?
I want to control the imps.
As you're holding it in your hand, your vines kind of swirl around it. You are able to gain control of it. Now, for each one of those imps, you're going to take 1d4 damage. There are 35 imps.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I said you shouldn't use it. So, Velnos, so what was your health before that?
It was 70.
I'm going to have you roll a constitution save to see if you die. Velnos, you are going to be in a state of teetering on death. You fall to the ground as the dark magic basically has like a reverberation back at you. However, this effect also does destroy all 35 of the imps and deactivate the crystal. However, it also, unfortunately, deactivates your heart, meaning everybody else is going to have to go over there and get you healed before before you die. You still rolled in that one.
Yeah, still in 91. I was going to jump as far as I can towards him.
All right, you jump as far as you can towards him. You hit the Cerberus statue in the middle. Call it 1d6. So Velnos is still technically alive. The armor itself is really what's keeping him alive at this point, and the magic from the crystal. There's really nothing else in there. Fortunately enough, the crystal itself was able to survive the dark magic reverberation, but he is teetering on death.
I guess I can use lay on hands to save his life. He just kind of like reaches out with like the very tip of his finger and like touches him like right on the snout.
45, so that's basically about half of his health. So Velnos, you're back at about half health, so you have 45 health right now. So you're able to move around and do stuff again, but you're definitely going to have to get some more healing once you get back to camp.
First thing I'm gonna do is look at the crystal, see if it's still functional.
The light from it faded, and the imps disappeared. However, the crystal itself still remains. It looks like basically what happened is that the dark magic in the crystal mixed with the light magic from the crystal that powers your armor, and the crystal from your armor was enough to deactivate it and dispel the dark magic from the crystal without it actually corrupting your armor. So basically what you have there is you have an empty vessel that you could possibly enchant at another date. It's a magical artifact that needs enchanting. So you can keep it. The only problem is that it's already attuned to dark magic and you don't know how to enchant with that.
No, figure something out.
Alright, so you can keep that with you. It is safe to store on your person.
While he's back up, I'm gonna walk over to the fucking Cerberus head and try to pick it up.
Roll strength to pick up the Cerberus head and install it.
22.
Alright, so you are able to pick up the Cerberus head and install it on the statue. As you install it, the statue begins to glow red, and the seal on the door behind it breaks. The door behind it then opens on its own to reveal what appears to be a room and a coffin-looking object at the other end of it that is closed.
I'm gonna go over to Uhtred and like, go, your false god calls you. And he immediately rip it.
My god wouldn't ask me to open a gravestone. Let's open it anyway then. But if I was gonna hide something, I would hide it in a sarcophagus.
You walk up to the big coffin, the stone sarcophagus that's at the other end of the room. It's kind of propped up on its side. You walk up to it. I'm going to have you roll a strength roll to open it. Except I want you to roll for your wisdom, not your strength. I'm going to say that's fine. You open the sarcophagus, and inside of it is a suit of armor fit for a heretic slayer. What you have in front of you currently is Doom Slayer armor to become the ultimate paladin.
Tight.
So basically, it acts as full plate. When you put it on, it has several magical effects that it gives you from your god. If you receive any kind of physical injury, it doesn't matter what it is, you can keep fighting until your health hits 0. So it doesn't matter how injured you are. You are going to be combat capable no matter what until you hit 0 health. The other thing that it allows you to do is if an enemy gets below 5% of its total health, you can do what's called a mutilation kill, which is basically you take your bare hands and you rip and tear it to fucking pieces. That suit also gives you a permanent +4 to strength.
I'm gonna look at Sarah and I'm like, man, these false gods, praying to these false idols.
I mean, whatever helps him sleep at night.
So now you have the armor on and you're all suited up.
My question is, where the fuck is the griffin?
The griffin didn't follow you through the portal. It was smart enough.
She's sitting there waiting like a good girl.
As you guys turn around to kind of look around the room and maybe try and find a way out, you see from the sky, smashing through the roof, comes a massive horned devil who is in the center of the room. He has a fiery greatsword in one hand, and he looks upon you and says, "You must kill me to leave this realm."
I'm immediately going invisible.
You go invisible. Everybody else is going to have to roll initiative against him. We have 6, 3, 32, 7. So we should be ready to go. So Velnos, what are you going to do first? Because this thing is just sitting there, and it looks very, very angry.
I'm gonna shoot the scorpion shit at both his eyes.
A double attack with both of your hands at his eyes, which is targeted. Those are going to take -2s on each of them, but you can roll to do that. Okay, so you're leaving the first one stuck in his eye, I assume? Okay, so you'll be able to roll again for the second one. The 18 will hit, yes. So that means you hit both of his eyes with both of your scorpion things. So roll for damage on each one of those. It will crit on both because they are targeted attacks, and they are directly on his eyes. All right, so that one's going to be a 24, and that one's going to be an 18. So in total, that's going to be 42 damage that you're going to do to him at once by shooting him in both eyes. So basically, Veldos, you do the scorpion thing. It looks almost weird. It looks like you're doing like the Spider-Man web thing, except it has spikes on it. You do that into both of his eyes, and you rip those back. And as you rip them both out, each one of them comes back with an eyeball impaled on it, and you ripped both of his eyes out, so he can't see anymore. But he's still going to be able to attack. It just means he's going to take a -3 to each one of his attacks. So the Horned Devil, so he has his big old flaming sword, so he's going to use that first. He's going to go after Raka, because Raka is the one who is wearing the armor that he is not supposed to let leave that realm. He rolled a 1! Oh, God. Okay.
That's what you get when you get blinded.
Apparently, yes. Even with the negatives, that's going to be like a -1. So, Raka, I'm going to give you a chance to do something fun here. So, basically what's going to happen is he tries to stab you with his massive flaming sword. He misses with the sword, stabbing down, and actually stabs the sword into the ground. So, basically what you do is you kind of just do a sidestep. He stabs the sword into the ground, so you're going to get an attack of opportunity because he can't get that sword out.
So I'm just going to go ahead and use my greatsword and smite him.
Roll for that. Yeah, that'll definitely hit. That is going to sting. So you do 16 damage to him with that greatsword. So you hit him for a bit more. You cut him pretty good. All right, Cham, I'm assuming that's for your attack roll.
Yeah. Targeted attack to the neck. So that'll be an 18.
18 will still hit. 40 plus 16, so that's 56 damage. So you came around behind it, and you cleaved it in the back of the neck. So you weren't able to fully decapitate it, but you carved him up enough where he's bleeding pretty profusely from his neck. He's clutching at a wound that's pretty deep in there. He also doesn't have any eyeballs now, thanks to Velnos. Arch, it is now your turn.
Nobody's really roughed up, huh?
Yeah, so no, I think everybody's in pretty good shape, actually, surprisingly, because the fucking devil rolled a nat 1 on his first attack, so he just fucking whiffed that.
Fantastic. Raka, are you a dex fighter or a strength fighter?
Mainly strength.
So I'll fucking pump a bull strength into Raka, just like finger guns, and it gives him a +4 to strength.
So then after that, it's going to go back up to Velnos. Now, Velnos, you just took out both of his eyes.
You know what? I'm gonna add insult to injury, and I'm just gonna garrote until I decapitate the fucker.
I'm going to have you roll a grapple check to do the wraparound for the vines. And basically what the vines are going to do is they're going to grow these like serrated edges that are going to be kind of like a chainsaw, and you're just going to run that shit in fucking rotation until you saw his head off if you were able to do this. Roll a grapple check. 25, I'm going to say that's enough. Now what I want you to do is I want you to roll a strength roll to see if you can outstrength him in order to hang on, and if you do that, then I'm going to count that as a hit. That is a nat 1. So I'm going to roll for him because there's a chance that he rolls a nat 1 as well. He almost rolled a nat 1, he rolled a 13, but that's also with the Horned Devil stats. He also has a +6 to strength. So that means that he's going to definitely not do that. So as you wrap it around him, he immediately grabs it and rips it off of his own neck, tearing the vines away. He doesn't get to you because the vines rip away from your wrists relatively quickly.
I have 2 attacks. Then I'm doing the scorpion right to the brain. I'm gonna shish kebab him.
Alright, that's going to be enough to hit. And that is a direct targeted attack. That's going to be 24 damage. So what you do is you shoot your scorpion spike up and through his already open eye socket and through the back of his head. But it's not enough to actually kill him. Devils are extremely tough, and he kind of just takes that. I mean, he's operating basically on adrenaline at this point. It can't be much else because he's missing both of his eyes and part of his neck. But he's not doing that great right now, but he is still alive, and he can still attack. So it's going to go down to him. So he's going to roll a strength roll to try and pull his sword out of the ground. That's going to take up his initial attack, but he's still going to have 2 attacks after that. But that's a +6 to his strength modifier, so that's going to be a 14. So it is enough to pull his sword from the ground. So now he's going to be able to do 2 attacks. Once with his fork, and he's going to attack once with his hurl flame attack. And since Velnos has been the one repeatedly fucking stabbing him, he's going to go after him. That is a 2. Fuck these rolls. All right, he misses with that. Now he has to do a hurl flame attack. That is a +7. He's also going to do that at Velnos. That's going to be a 24, so that's going to hit. That's going to be 4d6 fire damage. So that's 15 fire damage to you from the hurl flame attack. So you take that head on. So Raka, it's your turn now.
I'm just gonna go ahead and continue doing what I was doing.
Roll to smite. Oh, okay, yeah, that's definitely going to hit. You're getting a lot of good rolls on this.
Now, to be fair, it's just my attack modifier is ridiculous.
So that's 15 damage. So, yeah, you cleave him pretty good again. He's not doing too good. You slice right into his leg. So now you just basically just stabbed him right in the knee with that greatsword. You went right through his knee. So his mobility is going to be a little weird, although he can hover with the wing.
Repent your sins, demon.
I am sin. Mostly adultery. All right, so now it's going to go down to Champ. All right.
And that's a crit.
Yeah,
that's a targeted attack as well.
Yep, that's going to hit.
I see the exposed neck. I'm going for that one more time. That'll be 28.
Okay, so yeah, so it's going to be 56. You fly up with your energy sword and you cleave off his head. The demon head falls to the ground in front of you and rolls over, spewing blood from the bloody stump. Its sword flies into the air and stabs into the ground directly in front of Raka.
Don't touch the sword. It'll give you scabies.
Are you going to touch the sword, or are you going to leave it there?
I'm gonna leave it there. It's a demon sword.
Alright, if you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna grab it.
I'm gonna grab it, fuck it.
All right, Velnos, grab the sword.
Not even a magic user.
Roll Constitution. Okay, so this is basically going to be a crit roll from the weapon. So it's 2d8 plus 6 is the damage for that weapon. You take an immediate 20 damage from touching the sword and attempting to pull it from the ground.
I didn't die this time.
No, you did not die, although that did hurt.
Gee, if only there was someone wearing a Hellscape armor that would be compatible with this weapon and won't immediately hurt someone.
Okay, Mr. Paladin man, if you are not gonna touch the sword, I'm gonna touch the sword. If I die because I touched the sword, this blood is gonna be on your hands. You will be responsible for murder, which is not a good action.
Technically, he'll be responsible for suicide.
Fine. I'll grab the sword.
So here's what I'm going to do. Raka, roll a Constitution save.
Dude, my constitution is ass too, man.
All right, that's middle of the road, so I'm going to say it's going to sting a little bit, but it's not going to hurt you as much because of the way that doom armor works. So you pull the sword out of the ground and you hold it up in the air. And now the thing that happens is that originally it was a sword that was imbued with red fire. Now it is a sword that is slowly changing and is now imbued with blue fire. The sword has attuned to him. You essentially now have a new flame sword and new armor that it is attuned to. And again, it is a blue glowing sword, although the sword is not glowing with blue fire if it is stored on your back. If you are holding it, it is. That way you don't just randomly start lighting things on fire. After he grabs the sword, a portal opens up in front of you that appears to lead back into the temple. The griffin is there waiting for you and wagging its little griffin tail.
I was first one in, first one out.
Go to pet the griffin and hop on it and then fly away with the wind.
Everybody goes back through the portal, and you guys manage to get out. Raka, you hop on your griffin, now adorned with your Doomslayer armor and your flaming blue sword, and proceed to fly through the roof of the building with your sword out in front of you, glowing with blue fire as you fly into the countryside. It is now dark out, by the way, so you are a glowing blue beacon of light in the air as you fly back to camp. Everybody else is going to have to take the weird camel horde.